Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with the Blog to Watch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Garmin Fenix Chronos. This is the more high-end model in titanium. And I've got the charging clip on here because that's the first thing I want to talk about, because this is an activity smartwatch. And one of the biggest complaints I have about most activity smartwatches is charging them sucks. Well, they charge quickly, but the problem is that the actual method to charge isn't as smart as this. I've actually asked other brands to make something like this, and then I learned Garmin was doing it. I'm like, Garmin's smart. Why is this a good idea? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to pick it up here, and you can see that it's holding on to the watch real well. Okay, so you unclip it here. It's pretty easy to connect. It doesn't hurt the watch. The charging element is on the bottom, and it just holds onto the watch and allows you to charge it. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, I'll tell you why that's a big deal. Because most smartwatches that have a charger have like a little dock, like a little disc or a little stand or some type of thing which is very flimsy. And when I say flimsy, what I mean is that it's very easy for the watch to disconnect. Now, sometimes that's okay if the only time you're going to charge the watch is on a desk or some type of stable surface, but this is an activity watch. This is an outdoors watch, as are many others. What does that mean? You're going to want to charge it on the go. You might be outdoors, you might be traveling, you might want to throw it in a backpack. And with the Garmin charger, you can clip it to the watch, stick it to an external battery, and it'll charge, and you have to worry. With all those other chargers, if you try to put it in a bag and charge it, it's going to disconnect from the flimsy magnetic connection and not charge. You're going to have to sit there and like put it in you're going to have to hold it or be on some type of stable surface. And I don't necessarily understand that. I think this clip system works very well. If they wanted to have an optional system that allows you just to sit it on there, that's fine. But the fact that they make the clip and that it's the standard one, that's good. So right now, we live in a time where there's a lot of different smartwatches and there's a lot of different formats and pieces of software and various types of things like that. Functionally, a lot of them do the same thing, but there is, like I said, a lot of variety out there. And Garmin has been in the I'll call it the smart wearable space for a healthy amount of time, and this represents many years of effort. Some of the first Garmin GPS watches were not particularly attractive. They had like a big battery piece and things like that. And so the Fenix collection is already on their 5th iteration. They may have skipped the number 4. I think I went from the 3 to the 5. And the Chronos is part of the Fenix collection, but it's like I said, the higher end one. It's a lifestyle product. Even though it's a fully featured activity watch, Garmin wanted to focus a lot more on the design and the materials and the overall wearability. It comes in steel or titanium. This is the titanium model. It's 49 millimeters wide, which is, hefty, but as you can see, it wears quite well. And I want to talk about some of the things that make this Fenix Chronos different than other smartwatches, aside from going into the details of the operating system and talking about all the features that I'll never get to and don't necessarily understand. But before I do, I want to talk sort of just the physical shape of it. As you can see, it's sort of an attractive modern design. It's got a single link, slight curve to it, bracelet in titanium, grade 2 titanium. One of the things about this watch, if I had to have a complaint, is the tachymeter scale around the bezel, which I guess you could probably use with the chronograph mode. Let me put it in chronograph mode there now. I actually like there's a vibration. So when you push the chronograph button, there's a nice vibration. It just feels like you're doing something. It's a pretty intense vibration. You obviously can't hear it, but it's a nice reassuring vibration when I push the pusher. So yes, I could use the tachymeter scale when it's in this mode. Outside of that, there's no use for this, and it's a legacy item, meaning it's like something that Garmin said, oh, other fancy sport watches from the past have this. Let's use this as a design element. And actually, there are several other bezels that you can get on the Fenix that are probably a little bit more useful. This one looks cool, but out of all the things on this watch, this is the least functional thing. 5 buttons on the case, not a touch screen. It has a full color always on screen, which I think is good. The screen is not as bright as, say, an Apple Watch or something like that. But again, it is on all the time. The idea is that it's a high contrast, always on full color screen that you can see in sunlight, and it's pretty good. Again, you can see it, and as you're seeing it right now, there's nothing here at all. Actually, I think it's cool because this is a flyback. Not that it really matters because it's digital, but they knew what a flyback was and they made it. And that just means that rather than having to start or stop, reset, well, wrong button there. Anyways, you don't have to reset it. You can just start the thing again. There's actually a quick button here at any given time to go to exercise mode. This is an exercise watch, and that's basically what most of this is about. So I've actually selected some exercises here for a list. You can choose from a much longer list. These are just some things that I do once in a while. I bike and I hike a lot, and so the idea is that when you are about to go on that workout, similar to other watches, you go ahead and you start your workout, and it's basically being able to time your workout, and also so the watch knows to do certain things. For example, track your distance. Like if you're going to go on a hike, it doesn't necessarily know when you're starting a hike, so you tell it, and then after your hike, it'll tell you things like how the distance you went, and it'll estimate the calories you burned. And because it has a heart rate monitor, similar to the Apple Watch here, there's 3 versus 2 of these LEDs. I actually found this to be a very accurate heart rate monitor. It'll tell you things about your workout, and I actually found that quite good. I went on some hikes and did some exercise, and I really liked it. One of the cool things it does is because Garmin is so advanced in their ability to have GPS watches. They've been doing this for so long. They're, in my opinion, a little bit better in terms of the functionality and some of the precision. I could be wrong, but I just found that there was a very high quality level of sort of GPS tracking. I'll give you one example. When you're hiking, it can do something called measuring the 3D distance. So it's not just the distance you went on a flat plane, but taking into consideration changes in elevation, it tells you the distance you went. And I don't know that I've had another smartwatch that does that. It's possible that they're out there. The operating system is okay. You have to know how it works. It took me, 10 or 15 minutes to sort of figure out how it works. And again, it's weird to me because I don't necessarily have the luxury of having a touch screen, so everything has to be done with the buttons. And I actually don't totally mind that, because my biggest problem with watches that have a touchscreen is that the touchscreen itself gets dirty, and you always have to deal with smudges and fingerprints. Here, because you're only focusing on the 5 pushers, you don't necessarily have that problem. But again, sometimes it feels like you just want to swipe this way or swipe that way. So ideally, I think you should be able to do both, but I do understand that it was a design decision, and there's reasons for it. The various styles are okay. I wouldn't call them amazing or inspired, but you can download more. I haven't gone through Garmin's little app store to see the different watch faces. Apparently, there's a good number of them, but I usually like to see what's in here, what's like the stock thing to do. And again, because Garmin has their own operating system, that means you have to have a new set of information you have to learn. It's going to have its own apps, its own things. It's not Android compatible or anything like that. So it really relies on having its sort of own little market there. I happen to like some of these digital faces, so that's why I choose them. The operating system is, I'll call it robust, meaning there's a lot of menus, a lot of things you can do. I think some people are going to find it a little intimidating, and certain features aren't necessarily available all the time. Or they're harder to find. For example, I didn't find a way of just finding a map. It's probably in here somewhere, but I never really found out how to just find a map. You have to go into a tool where you are using the map, or you are hiking and it shows you the map as you're hiking and it shows you the distance. So it definitely has great mapping and GPS tools built into it, but unlike something like an Apple Watch or an Android Wear watch, you can't just access the map and see where you are, or at least I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And let's see, is it here? No, that's for save location. That's I guess getting like a waypoint or something like that. But like, would you expect that the save location icon be where the power is to lock it, to go into some type of, I don't know what that is, night mode, do not disturb? It's waiting for the phone. I don't know why the phone's not connected. Actually, I found that the phone connection is interesting because you can get emails and notifications and things like that, but I actually like it when the watch simply relays information about your workout and things like that to the phone, and you have Garmin Connect, and there's a lot of interesting features. So going back to who this watch is best for, Garmin wants it to be for the guy that, or the woman that exercises and uses a lot of these features and wants them, but also wants a watch they can wear every single day as a lifestyle piece to tell everyone that I like nice activity gear, and I spend a lot of time focused on being active and living a healthy or interesting lifestyle, and I want to wear my watch all the time. Similar to how dive watches became popular a long time ago. You know, recreational dive watches were meant for recreational diving, and then people started wearing them when they were not diving to say, I may not be diving now, but I'm the diving kind of person. So that's interesting. I want to say one really cool thing about the bracelet here. Titanium links on the outside, but inside it's a rubbery material, and there's a little bit of flexibility to the bracelet. I can show you here. Look at that, how it bends. Now, what I like about that is it makes this thing really comfortable. You can wear this watch a little bit too tight or a little bit too loose, and it still wears very comfortable. And I've never quite seen anything like that. Sure, you could just take this off and put on a normal strap, and the watch does come on what I'll call normal, like rubber straps. There might be a leather strap option, but I think the titanium is really quite handsome and completes the look. That's really much all I'm going to say about the Garmin Fenix Chronos. At a price of about $1,500, it's definitely not the cheapest smartwatch out there. In fact, it's among the more expensive. You can spend well under $1,000 for the Chronos without the titanium, without the bracelet. So don't think that this is inherently has to be a $1,500 purchase. I think it's $800 or $900 on the steel bracelet, for example, as opposed to titanium. So this is really sort of as high-end as it goes. If you are someone that regularly likes to work out or really likes to have a lot of advanced GPS tracking features and mapping features, this is definitely the way to go. If you don't have a lot of use for that, and you mostly want your watch for notifications and to be on time and things like that, the Garmin does that, but there's probably other options out there that are going to sort of offer you more, I'll call it communication and connectivity tools. I have to give, a lot of respect to Garmin for creating a device which is a tool first and a lifestyle or fashion piece second. It definitely attempts to be both, but when you wear this, when you use it, you're like, this is a serious tool for people who need and understand how to use serious tools, and I really respect it for that a lot. And I'm excited about the Fenix 5 Chronos, and also the knowledge that Garmin is fully committed to these types of products and will continue to come out with new and better ones in the future. And this is, again, an interesting product, and I love that it exists in sort of the larger smartwatch ecosystem. Again, this is the Garmin Fenix 5 Chronos in titanium on the matching titanium bracelet, and the price is $1,499. You can see the full review on a Blog to Watch. Thanks.